Here we are ready for the main game here in round 5 of the New South Wales Premier League. Jack Clifton and Sonia McCloma, your commentators for this match between the Panthers and the Central Coast Heart. Heart took out the under-23 game earlier on this evening, winning by the tune of 48 goals to 44. And now it's time for the Opens girls to do their business on the main ShowCourt arena here. The Panthers sitting in 7th position on the ladder, 1 win and 3 losses. They had a heartbreaking 54-53 defeat to the GWS Fury last week, and their only win was against the UTS Sparks by 40 goals to 39. Meanwhile, the Central Coast Heart currently on a 2-game winning streak, 3-1. They hammered the Stingrays a couple of weeks ago, 64-38, and beat North Shore United last week, 56-52 for their 3rd win of the season. They'll be looking to keep themselves at the top of the ladder. It's currently sitting at 3-1. While the Panthers at 1-3 know it's important for them to get 2 competition points if they want to stay in touch with the top sides in this New South Wales Premier League competition. So almost go time, and it'll be Panthers who have first use of the ball as they move downfield through Berry and try and create a little bit of space in that final third attacking wise. And it'll be interesting to see whether this game follows a similar theme of the under-23s game as the Panthers open up the scoring inside 20 seconds. Yeah,
we'll be interested to see Panthers starting quite comfortably and finding easy passage into their attacking third, and a pressure pass ball by the Central Coast Heart that gets a turnover, so Panthers back with the possession.
So Panthers have an opportunity now to find some space. This ball takes an interception. Almost lands in the lap of Sonia there as it deflects off the fingers of the Central Coast defender, and they get a great turnover there, but luckily for the Panthers, they're able to get it back there through Tavita.
Yeah, that was well read by Walsh, and Walsh is one of those players, should be an important player for the Central Coast Heart this game, and that's a turnover for Demi Evans, so great interception.
Pretty poor pass there by the Panthers, probably would like to have that one back. A great opportunity to potentially look for a second goal, but they've given the ball back to the ladder leaders as they try and work themselves into some space here through Evans.
Yeah, and like I said before, so Demi Evans is the older sister. Her sister just played, so she's got some big shoes to fill now.
That's right.
Opens, and Kessler's back on as the older sister from the 21st, back in that same wing attack position. So let's see if their sisters can do what the younger ones have done. So
Maddie Taylor being able to open up her account and the account for the Central Coast side as they get their first goal. They had about 90 seconds of play here. And no doubt these girls will know how important this early stage can be. If a side can skip out to a 3 or 4 goal lead at the end of that first quarter, it can really just lay a platform for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And, there's just a little bit of misunderstanding by the Panthers attack ends and miscommunication, but another turnover by Central Coast. So seems similar to under 23s, both teams just trying to settle in the first couple of plays down court. They
push forward, the ball balloons up in the air, and this one will go to Sonia as she finally gets her opportunity.
Back in, touch the ball, match ball, so that's important for me.
It's not too sweaty at this stage as well.
No, it's not. So that was a great contest by both centres from across both teams in the air, so Demi Evans and Rodwell. So this might be a good matchup between the two.
Yes, there's been a lot of interceptions. Defence has been the name of the game early on. We've probably had 3 or 4 interceptions. But the Panthers doing well of holding possession here. Now it goes forward there for the Panthers.
Yeah, and that was a good shooter pass by De Potola to Makunde.
So the Panthers get their second goal of the game through Makunde. One of the real sharpshooters for this Panthers side is going to be leaned upon heavily today if they are to walk out of Virginia Netball Centre with the 2 competition points. But here's the Central Coast side as ball's deflected away, and the Panthers get a valuable turnover through Rodwell. Goes further down to Berry, did well to stay in the field of play. Goes back to Tavita.
So it's great ball movement from the attacking of the Panthers and good patience. And Di Patola is very smart in that attack as a goal attack and getting that ball into Makunde. So that's a good hold by her. And I think Makunde comes from a basketball background. So you can see in the way she's holding and protecting her space and setting up in the circle against Roger.
And she's got some good height and elevation.
Yeah, she does.
Matched up pretty well with the goalkeeper for the Central Coast in Laura Roger. Yeah,
Laura Roger was part of our A&L team previously, so she was in my defence and we were training, so I'm expecting big things from her. So, so I'm like, oh, get up there.
We'll pass some notes to her throughout the game so she knows that her coach is watching on.
Yeah, I'll just give her a look. That seems to work nowadays. And that's a great take by Maddie Taylor in the air.
Good work by Taylor. She pulls one back for the Heart, but it's still the Panthers in these opening 5 minutes have got themselves a pretty handy advantage, leading by 4 goals to 2.
Yeah, and Panthers not afraid to go back to go forward, so that was good contest by Roger, just couldn't get the turnover and just got the contact call. So it's 2-1 in the circle, so let's see if Panthers can make use of it.
Makunde will get a further step forward, and really that's just easy pickings for the Panthers goal shooter. 5-2 to the Panthers, 10.5 left first quarter. Restart play here to the Central Coast through Evans. And it's got the support of Hawley out there. So as they try and push themselves into a goal-scoring position again, Taylor using that strength of her body to keep control of possession and find the net.
And she's got a height advantage in that circle with relatively not being that tall. So for them, it's going to be very important to get close when on the elevation so that she can contest the ball in the air and not give Maddie Taylor too much space.
Nice ball move here from Di Bartolo to Rodwell. Trying to find some separation up front. Di Bartolo just has to hold it a little bit, and it's a bit of a costly turnover there to Walsh.
Yeah, just a misplaced pass by Di Bartola, so just misread the release and where the defenders were, so she's going to have to work hard to get that back.
So Walsh playing in wing defence, doing lots of running and finding the ball a lot, and no mistakes again. So the Heart pull themselves back into this one. Panthers still lead by a goal, but Central Coast have possession on this passage of play.
Yeah, and that's good foot speed by Kessler. You know, that's what she's good at. So for Russell, she's going to have to keep closer with. I think Russell's giving Kessler way too much space off the centre passes. So, you know, Kessler's a very smart player, so Russell's going to have to keep up and keep that body on her.
We need to try and find a way to stopping Maddie Taylor at the moment, because she's been able to. Not all the balls coming in have been quality balls. She's had to reach either high or low for them, and has done well to use good strength of in her body, as well as her positioning and balance. Walsh pushes forward to Kessler. Once more here to Hawley.
Yeah, and that was fast transition from Central Coast down the court. A call really late, sloppy, I think, from Russell. So she just tidied that up on the edge. And again, back into the circle. So the Central Coast Heart attacking, just starting to find their groove a little bit.
Well, she's showing experience, isn't she, Maddie Taylor, in there, and using her body really well, and leaping high to take this ball, and again converts. We use the word sharpshooter a lot, but she's been like that at the start. Hard out to 7-5, 8 minutes left.
Yeah, Maddie's one of those players that's very smart, using her body to hold the space. Great turnover from Hawley. So like I said before, it's always good to see a goal attack, get an interception pass, and Central Coast Heart transition very quickly into their attacking, and have a great free from Kessler. So Kessler's going to be a major key play for this Central Coast Heart attack end.
She has developing a lot of quality ball, as is Hawley, the goal attack for the Central Coast. Their front three really combining, and unfortunately Kessler can't get on the end of that one as it runs away from her.
Yeah, just a bit too much push on it from, I think it was Walsh at the back.
First bit of meaningful possession the Panthers have had for some time, must be said. They were up by 5 goals to 2, now down to trail by 8 goals to 5. So a run of 6 consecutive goals from the Central Coast. The Panthers looking to stop that.
Yeah, but Panthers are very patient in their attack end, and just that ball into Macundas. That's a big shot by Di Bartola, and it sinks. So that was good to know that she's has a long shot on her.
She gets it back to 8-6. They restart with possession. Rodwell getting involved and using her body to her advantage in that centre position. Goes to Kukunda.
You say Kukunda. Isn't it Makunda?
Kukunda.
Kukunda. Well, you're turning into me now.
That's right. Yeah, it's infectious.
Yeah, it is.
Taylor comes out of the circle and gets her hands on the ball and goes now to Evans, and then finds herself right back under the goals. Really good positional play there.
Yeah, and good use by Evans and Kessler at the edge of the circle, just swinging the ball around and waiting for Maddie Taylor to open up. So Hawley's doing some great drives in his goal attack, and defense have to pick one. So that's something they're going to have to do if they're going to say the one-on-one or the double on Maddie Taylor. But I think the defense of the Panthers need to make that decision earlier.
If you're in Tian Bradley's position as goalkeeper and you're marking someone like Maddie Taylor, that everything she's doing turns to goal, what can she be doing to be trying to stifle her attacking play a bit?
Yeah, well, Maddie Taylor's very good at holding her space and positioning, so what Bradley's going to have to do is keep moving her feet around her and not letting her actually set up on her. So as you watch as the ball comes down, Maddie Taylor starts her set up in the circle quite early and finds position. So for Bradley, she's going to have to set up so Maddie starts to hold, just watching, protecting her space for something to open up. So Bradley's going to have to slow that down.
So they get a goal there through Tasha Hawley. She gets her name on the score sheet. She's been providing a lot of assists early on, but gets a goal there for her troubles. Hard out to 10 goals to 7. Certainly wouldn't say that the Panthers are really out of this at the moment, although they do trail by 4 goals. They just really haven't been able to get any meaningful possession, and a few turnovers. It's been a little bit costly.
Yeah, and I think with the attack end of Central Coast Heart with Hawley, she's actually stepped up these last few minutes and started to take strong drives into the circle. So defensively, you can't double on Maddie Taylor because the goal attack's starting to do the work and she's getting her shots away. So they are showing the low, which means defense is going to tighten up down at this end for the Panthers.
They pull one back to the Panthers there, so just stem the flow of goals that have been coming in. 4.5 minutes still left in this first quarter, so still plenty of time left in this first quarter of netball action. Jack Clifton and Sonia McCloma here with you to bring you all the action from the ShowCourt. Plenty of other games going on around the place as well, and Sonia will give you the updates of those at quarter time.
Yes, I will.
As Taylor converts for the Central Coast, 12-8.
So that's a good ball by Di Bartolo. And Whale for Mukunda to come out very strong out the circle. So it's a big shot for Di Bartolo. She nails it.
Yeah, she hasn't had that many opportunities, really, has she? But she's had a couple of really nice shots in this quarter.
Yeah, the defensive pressure from Wild has been good, and it's making Bartolo, keeping her out of the circle, keep her out of the mess, and she's had to put these long shots up. And, fortunate for the Panthers, she's actually nailing them. But that's good defensive pressure from the Central Coast Heart defenders.
Central Coast now push themselves into that attacking final third. Hawley gets her hands on the ball again, just moving into space, and Taylor, despite the attention of Bradley, did really well to collect that ball. And it's almost a foregone conclusion whenever she has a shot. Yeah. I don't think she's missed one so far in this quarter.
And I don't think she's moved from within 2 feet of the post. So by her, she's very strong in her hold and positioning under the post.
Panthers now have an opportunity. Di Bartolo again going from downtown, but can't hold on to that one.
Yeah, and that was good defensive pressure, and by them taking Mukunda out of the game. So she actually wasn't an option for the attack end. And, I'm assuming being that tall, she's actually a target at the back. So she's going to have to find space and probably hold her space for a bit longer.
We've seen a big influence by Walsh in wing defence. What can you tell people about her, or at least the impact she's had in this first quarter?
Yeah, Walsh is a very tenacious player, and she's up in every contest. So I think the use of the wing attack with the change of direction is going to be important, but also just taking her forward and dropping on her, because Walsh will come and drive for the ball. So the attack have to do a lot of work to get free of Walsh earlier on before the ball comes down court. And Walsh also plays in a circle, so I've seen her play in goal defence position as well. So it'll be interesting to see if this pulls out, whether they do make the change.
That's a beautiful shot from Hawley, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, and it was very confident. Yeah. So the Panthers defenders are going to have to tighten up on each of their players, and they're giving them a bit too much space and not on the back of the loose ball. So just a misunderstanding by the Panthers defenders. Goalkeeper coming out way too early. So Panthers got to stay in this fight, and it looks like heads are starting to drop a little bit. So for them, they're going to have to kind of just step it up a little bit. Good pressure by Russell. To cause Kessler to go offside or break the line.
Patience is no doubt the key for this Panthers side, but they managed to get possession back there.
Yeah, but again, Russell was in everything, so she's causing a lot of mistakes and a lot of pressure for Panthers. So right now, Panthers are waiting for the ball to come to them, so they're actually going to have to keep driving onto the ball, the pass, and actually protect their space.
Do you think it's been more of the Panthers being a little bit sloppy with possession, or is the defence and that high defensive line being played by Central Coast just been too difficult for the Panthers to overcome?
No, I just think on the pass, for the receive, the Panthers are just slow onto the ball, so they've just got to finish off what they're doing. So as the ball's coming to them, they're very slow receiving, and obviously, again, bad ball placement. So they just need to tighten up on that and make use of their opportunities. They've
made it hard for Mukunda, haven't they? Because she's a really good shooter, but hasn't really got too many balls in her direction, and a rare wayward pass there by Central Coast Heart. As ball goes out, down to 60 seconds left in this first quarter. Heart 16 lead the Panthers 10.
Yeah, and the Panthers actually got some players on the bench. They've got Amarang Masala, who's actually been training with the Swifts at the moment and was part of the 2019 A&L team. So it's interesting to see why she's on the bench. Maybe, I know the weekend she didn't play much netball, so such a great asset player and as a goal attack and sit on the bench. And I think that's what they need, is that supply into Mukunda.
Hawley dances away down the left side, back to Walsh. Walsh combines well with Kessler there. Now through to Taylor. Nice little drop ball.
Yeah, and defensive pressure, the Panthers are dropping off and there's no defensive pressure on this Central Coast Heart. So, you know, for them, they're going to have to step up moving into the second quarter. If they're not careful, this game and the scoreline will run away with them.
Well, they want to try and stop them before the end of this quarter. The Panthers still 15 seconds to play and ball is coughed up and goes out, but it still will be possession Central Coast. Goes back to Taylor, who uses a height advantage well and finishes off a good passage of play, and that will be the last of the first quarter with a Heart. 18 goals to 10 over the Panthers in what has been a quarter that's been thoroughly dominated by the Heart. Very, very physical, strong performance, good pace, and their finishing at the end of it's been very, very classy, Sonia.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you've got to keep in consideration that Central Coast Heart were champions last year. So, you know, they are a well-oiled unit, and most of the core players are still here with their team. So with the Panthers, there has been some movement for their team. So for them, it's settling in. And I guess, you know, we are at round 5, so there's something to do quickly. And Central Coast have the advantage. They've been together. You know, this is coming into their second season.
Yeah, so they have certainly put their best foot forward. But as we've seen in a lot of netball games in the past, if you can be able to get a little bit of possession, and like we saw in the under-23 game, if the Panthers can find a little bit of rhythm, you can, just get on top and hit 3 or 4 goals in a row. And if they were to do that, they'll be right back in the ball game. You've got some of those scores from around the grounds here, I guess.
Yes, there's a tight game that North Shore United are down by 1 to the Stingrays. So the scores are 12-13 to Stingrays. The Fury and the Hawks are up together, so the Hawks have pulled the score out to 20-13 to Fury. So, you know, Hawks is one of those other teams that's got a lot of some of the SSM players and some A&L players, so they've got a well-oiled team also, and they've recruited very well this season, so that shows by the scoreline. The Sapphires are up by 17 to the Sparks 7. So again, they're another team that's recruited well in the off-season. They've got a couple of their A&L girls and SSN girls dropping back for them, especially from the Giants side. So, you know, these are the main teams to watch. And obviously with the Hearts up 18-10 to the Panthers. So, you know, the Sapphires, Hawks and Heart are going to be probably the top 3 teams moving forward, and just showing by their performance and just where they've recruited. They've got a lot of top-class players sitting on their bench also. That
they do. So 15 minutes down, 45 to go. Heart leading by 18 goals to 10. A really good performance by them. It was a good start by the Panthers, but as soon as a couple of goals went in, you could just kind of see the heads drop a little bit, a couple of really costly turnovers, which directly led to goals. And unfortunately for the Panthers, haven't been able to find an answer defensively for Maddie Taylor, their goal shooter of the Heart, who's been almost immaculate up front.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting if they have any changes moving forward. I know they've got a few. They've got Petty Talona, who's a really great goalkeeper, who's moved across from the Fury this season, sitting on the bench. So she's actually a handy keeper. So it'll be interesting to see whether she gets on in that position for Panthers. And I think she'll probably be, they just need a bit more height in there. So we'll see if the coaches make the changes. And also with Amarangi Melasala, whether she gets on in that goal attack position. I just think they need a change up. So it looks like they've got a new wing attack on for the Panthers.
Probably a good thing that the end of the quarter happened at this stage. Gives the Panthers a chance just to catch their breath and just regroup and get some instructions from the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's important, and like I said, they don't want this scoreline to blow out on them. And you know, Central Coast have got some great girls sitting on the bench for them who can come on. So they've got Dakota Thomas, who's also in the A&L team. You know, they've lost Laura Moore due to a shoulder injury, who's one of the SSM players for the Swifts. So she's sidelined for the rest of the season for the Heart. But with what they've got in the back end with Rogers and Dakota Thomas and Wild, you know, the defence end seems pretty solid currently.
So a big second quarter coming up here. The Heart obviously wanting to continue on their merry way and try and build a sizable advantage by half-time. But the Panthers maybe not try and get themselves a level, but try and just dig in and chip away at this lead and maybe get it down to 4 or 5 goals by the end of that second quarter. Although things can obviously change in the game of sport very, very quickly. And if they can gain some momentum with particularly a couple of these new substitutions coming on, that could just boost their morale and their chances in this game. They will start off with possession, which is going to be important for them to hold on to it.
Yeah, and like I said, Panthers have made changes, so Petty's gone on to the goalkeeper position. And like I said, she's got a bit more height and a talented goalkeeper who's moved across from the Fury team. And they've just brought on a new wing attack in Lowry, who's actually from the under-23, so she's come up. I'm not sure if she played earlier, though, so we'll see how she goes at this level.
Don't remember calling her name, so perhaps she wasn't used in that one, knowing that she would be called up to the senior role, but a great opportunity for her. Always, that's the goal, isn't it? When you're playing at the underage levels, is to try and get to the top and play and test yourselves against the very best in this New South Wales Premier League. And well, they are being tested at the moment by the Central Coast Heart.
Yeah, and that was a much better contest by Petty in the air against Maddie Taylor. So for the feeders for Central Coast Heart, they're going to have to make sure they place that ball very accurately.
That change looks like it might just benefit the Panthers there. But a costly turnover there. Di Bartolo just couldn't thread the needle. Goes back to Evans through the middle. Here's Walsh. Quick ball movement here by Central Coast. Moving into open positions.
Yeah, so both defenders, Tavita's dropped back on Maddie Taylor. So there's two defenders dropped back, and we'll see. So they obviously know that Maddie Taylor is the threat. So Central Coast have to move the ball around. So, unlucky by Petty in the air. Just got caught on the contact and pushing her against the post a little bit.
So Taylor converts. Hart now at 20 goals to 11. So it's been some good fights shown by the Panthers, but at the moment the Hart just showing their class and moving the ball downfield, finding spaces, and at the moment nothing is slowing down Maddie Taylor, and she almost misses for the first time, but luck is on her side as that rolls in for goal number 21 for the Central Coast.
So that was good defensive pressure from the Central Coast Heart team, and that was good for Laurie to get free and find space on that centre pass and actually draw the contact. That's a better ball and delivery into Makunde.
And she converts, so that will just give them a little bit of confidence. They needed that. It was not just the goal, but the passage that led to that. Good work by Di Bartolo, who's developed quite a decent rapport with Makunde up front. But Maddie Taylor goes straight up the other end and plots another goal for the league leaders.
Yeah, that was good movement by Maddie Taylor. She went forward to go back, and just Taluna went with her all the way and then just got left behind. So Taluna's going to be a bit smarter on how when she comes in and out of the circle.
Panthers have the ball just at the circle, trying to find some room. Rodwell does well to thread the needle and get a nice pass through there.
So contact called against Laura Rogers. So Wild's being a pain to Makunde on the circle. So Makunde actually needs to find space there, and I think she's moving off too much. So she just stays and holds and plants her feet ground, where she's getting pushed around, I think, a lot in the circle.
So Panthers have been able to go tit for tat at the moment with the Heart.
Yeah, and that was unlucky for Hart because Taylor actually opened up, so that was an offside call by the swing attack.
Knocked away by the Heart, but possession will stay with the Panthers. So they're showing a lot more energy and higher tempo in this quarter than what we saw in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that first quarter.
Yeah, they are. So for them, that's good changes and just a bit of sloppy defence and coming in late and late challenges by the Central Coast Heart Wild.
Goes to Makunde, and she does what she does so well and finds the net for the Panthers. Wouldn't say momentum shifting just yet, but they're working towards it, the Panthers. A lot less wayward passes and balls that have been going to the opposition than we saw in the first quarter, which was definitely their downfall.
Yeah, definitely. And both teams, it's 4 goals each in this quarter. So, Panthers are holding in it. So these changes have settled them slightly, but they just needs a couple of turnovers and some possession gains.
Well, when Makunde has got the ball in a little bit of space, she's been able to finish fairly comfortably. So it just shows that first quarter probably void of any great goal-scoring opportunities.
Yeah, she just needs to keep finding that space. I don't think she has a presence at the moment on the court or in the circle. So the Panthers attacking are working the ball around the circle a lot to try and get it into her, but then unfortunately they're getting the turnovers and losing possession.
Really nice finish there by Tasha Hawley.
Yeah, that was a good shot by her, wasn't it?
Just to consolidate for the Heart, who lead by 23 goals to 15. Both sides jostling and battling to try and find ascendancy in this one.
And that was good defensive pressure from Kessler at the back end. Unfortunately, the ball didn't drop her away. Oh, that's better movement by Makunde to find space. And good timing onto lean and good finish.
Seems to have a bit of a confidence now, does the goal shooter for the Panthers. She's really getting her head into this game, isn't she?
Yeah, she's finding a lot more space, and the feeders are seeing her as well. So hopefully she keep building on this. We just need the defense. Oh, misunderstanding by Walsh. But great to be in the hustle to get the ball back.
Quick movement downfield, goes to the centre in Rodwell, out to Di Bartolo. Back to Rodwell. Makunde.
And that was a great decision by Rodwell to pass it and wait for Makunde to pop open. She had two options available to her, so that was a good decision by her.
Some instructions being shouted out by the Central Coast staff as Panthers are just starting to get on top a little bit here. 9-goal lead has been trimmed back to 6.
Yeah, and again, another pass by Rodwell into Makunde. And Makunde actually presented a bit more for the ball, so that was good by her.
Really good rebound as well, considering that probably should have done a little bit better with that first shot, but got a reprieve and found the goal again.
Yeah, and the scores are within 5. So Panthers have brought the scoreline down. And
defence of the Panthers, I think, has been pretty impressive in this second quarter. Obviously, the attack doing their job at the other end of the court, but as we see a heavy collision there. But the defence has been very good, and Maddie Taylor not having as much as an influence as we saw in that first 15 minutes.
Yeah, the feeders are playing the ball around the circle a bit more, and Maddie Taylor a little in and out to get a bit closer to the post where she's more comfortable for that shot.
Taylor converts. 8 minutes left, so halfway through this second quarter. We'll take a break at half time, but we'll have around the ground scores as well as another, obviously, 7.5 minutes action of this one, with the Heart up by 24 goals to 18 here over the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a great, strong drive by Larry in the wing attack position. Just a bit of misunderstanding by Di Bartolo and Larry on the circle edge, but I think Larry coming into that wing attack position has been very dominant for that Panthers team.
Kunde has had a really fruitful quarter. She's dragged her side within 5. They go out wide to Taylor. It goes back to Kessler.
Yeah, and Penny's doing a good job at forcing Maddie Taylor just away from the post, so making her move a lot more movement from her, and pushing her out to a bit of a mid-range shot, which, you know, now we see the shots are just rolling in, so Maddie Taylor's struggling with that little bit. Larry free again. She's a great addition to this Opens team, isn't she?
She is, yeah. She's certainly taking her opportunity with both hands.
Yeah, and just been a great impact on the court, especially, again, an experienced player like Walsh, so she's just running with her.
Particularly this deep into the quarter as well. Sonia, you'd expect that in the first maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the quarter, because there's a few tired legs and sore bodies out there, but she's been really influential throughout this whole quarter, and a nice block by the Panthers as they knock the ball out of play.
Yeah, that was a good arm by Tallulah, and that's what she's good for. So she's got a bit more height in there than Bradley did, and use it to her advantage. So we'll see outside that circle whether we can slow down the movement of Demi and Kessler along the circle edge. So I think Rodwell and, is it Russell, got a lot of work to do out in front to get turnovers.
Taylor starting to have a bit more of an influence now at the back end of this second quarter. 2 or 3 goals in the last couple of minutes. The Heart out by 7, and Taylor has a chance to extend it by 8, and that's exactly what she does. So there was a little period where the Panthers were getting on top, but that has dissipated now as the Heart start to take control, and then they win possession as Makunde tries to get her hands around it, but unable to dispossess the Heart defence as they move out here to Walsh.
Yeah.
Evans, Walsh with a costly drop, and Rodwell was there to win it back. Here's Lowry. Forward to Di Bartolo.
And that was good defensive pressure by Panthers to win it back. So Di Bartolo with a big shot. She's getting a bit frustrated with her feeders, so she wants that ball a lot earlier. Take the shot, but I think the feeders are quite smart in the fact that they're actually looking to see both their options. And if Makunde is open under the post, which is not such a high-risk pass, they're actually looking for that as well.
And we've seen, particularly in the under-23s game, Sonia, as well as this game, and how good the Heart have been, that you really need a 2 or 3 pronged attack. If you're relying just on that one player, it's easy defensively to shut that down.
Yeah, and you know, with netball, you do need 2 leads onto the ball. So whether it's a trailing lead or 2 leads at the same time, I just think you need to open up the options. And sometimes teams are getting a bit stuck with just one lead, and that's outmarked and no one else is coming forward. So it's about each player taking on responsibility and making sure they're a viable option. So again, that's with Panthers with just one lead at the moment.
Rodwell at the edge of the circle, Di Bartolo, and she might go to Makunde, and that's what she does.
Yeah, and that was a better offload and better shoot pass, and Makunde held her space well. So let's see if the defense end of the Panthers can win ball back.
And that's what they need. They need a few more turnovers.
Yeah, and that was better on the line defensively. Just Russell out of play, so we'll see if they can. They've got the Central Coast attackers split.
Kessler, who's been really good in the engine room there. There's a slight deflection, won't stand, and great opportunity there for Hawley.
Yeah.
She gets nothing but net as the Heart go out to 29 goals to 21.
Yeah, and Tavita back in the back end just dropped back a lot earlier and way too early onto the goal shooter. So she probably needs to stay out a lot longer on Hawley and just put a bit more pressure on the goal attack because she's having a free reign run into the circle.
They're working hard, the Panthers, and they've been a lot better in this quarter than they were in the first quarter, but just haven't been able to stifle the offense of the Central Coast side enough. Still an 8-goal advantage. They'll get an opportunity to trim that to 7 here. And
just an offload by Di Bartolo to Makunde under the post, which was smart. And she was just casually, Di Bartolo does actually kind of look like she's just casually walking around going about business. And she's definitely a massive playmaker for the Panthers side. And, you know, that's a great turnover for them. So let's hope they can capitalise on it.
They need to. Rodwell goes in, but it's fended away. They'll win possession back, though, will the Panthers.
So this is good footwork by Rogers and a big good offload by Di Bartolo.
Goes to Makunde, and she converts. So bit of a good work being done here by the Panthers as they start to make some inroads offensively. That was a really good turnover just before. Rodwell now goes to Makunde.
Yeah, much better presentation by Makunde. So Roger, great tip on that shot and getting up in the air. So Makunde will get another chance at the goal.
Again, and Lowry, the one that wins it back, and Makunde converts. And we're back to that 5-goal scoreline again here, Sonia. 29 plays 24.
Yeah, so Panthers probably just need one more turnover to kind of get themselves confidently back in the game and just not allow things like that with Maddie Taylor under the post where she's quite comfortable. So they need to kind of stop the ball coming into Maddie Taylor that quickly.
They've done pretty well defensively in this quarter to kind of push her out onto the edge of the circle at times and not let her be sitting right under there, but they've just fallen away from that probably in the last 5 minutes. Obviously, fatigue a big factor in both sides, but probably more the Panthers as they've done a lot more running as Makunde luckily gets the rebound, those long arms of hers.
Yeah, and
converts.
Makunde's got such a good height. It is important for Laura Roger to get to box out and kind of keep her away from that rebound position. So
Go
we'll
forward to Hawley out wide right, but Taylor can't hold on to it, so forced by good defence there by the Panthers.
Yeah, that was good defence by Bartolo, but they've got no one to pass it to, so the defenders are getting too wide on their attacking, so they need to just come in a bit narrower, so an easier outlet pass. Much better transition through court.
Larry does well, goes to Di Bartolo in the centre, now Rodwell with the ball. She goes forward to Makunde, who does well to hold on to the ball with those go-go gadget arms of hers, and she converts another goal.
Yeah, and it was a confident feed by Rodwell to put the ball up to Makunde, who's actually started to demand the ball and has a bit more presence in the circle. So they've got the score line back within 4, so let's see if they can capitalise on this. It's
been a really good performance, Makunde. It's a little bit of a shove there from Roger, and we'll get a chance to now get it within 3, which looked impossible at the start of this second quarter, and she converts to the Panthers with just over 60 seconds left in this second quarter, now only trail by 3. So Central Coast will be desperate to try and get at least 1 goal here and try and consolidate the margin.
Yeah, so Panthers are up this quarter to 17-12, so this quarter's been a good quarter for them, so it's very good, smart changes.
Nice turnover again. Rodwell gets a hand in there, fends it away. Di Bartolo goes down court.
Yep, and that's good pressure again by Walsh. We know she's going to be on the back of anything, so unlucky by a while. They play on. Good transition by Bartolo and great feed and vision by Rodwell, so she's definitely connecting with Makunde very well.
And Makunde gets them within 2, so 2 or 3 really pivotal turnovers that have led to goals, and the Panthers have possession once more as they go downfield here to Lowry, who's been a great addition.
Yeah.
Now Makunde, and they're back within one. This has been a remarkable turnaround by the
Yeah,
Panthers.
it has, and I think the Panthers, I think having Makunde being more present in the post, and the feeders are starting to find her much easier in the attacking third. So I think that's been the massive turnaround in the possession. You know, replay ball by Wild, so possession goes to the Panthers. So the pressure's on Central Coast Heart to hold out this last goal.
And so the end of the second quarter, and what a quarter it was for the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, 18-12 in that quarter as they get back to only trail by one. It's the Heart 30 goals leading the Panthers 29. At one stage, they found themselves trailing by 8 in that quarter, but now only trail by 1, and that has to be a huge confidence boost because, to be honest, the Central Coast looked really rattled in that last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, they did, and I think that was a much more concise and patient attack with the induction with Larry in that quarter. I think she definitely changed up that attack end. So Central Coast now going to have to have a look at what they've done and see if they're going to make any changes, which I think they will. And it looks like they are. So they're bringing Dakota Thomas into the defensive position as, let's see what Beauty puts on goal defense, and I think the change is needed.
So the end of the second quarter here, half-time, it's the Heart 30 leading the Panthers 29, but the Panthers have got themselves right back in the game with a really determined performance in the second quarter with a great performance up front there by Makunde with some really classy finishes. Some of the scores are from the other courts.
Yep, so North Shore United 23, the Stingrays 29. Fury 27 to the Hawks 42, so they've been able to pull away. The Sapphires lead the Sparks 29-18. So some of the bigger teams are starting to pull away their scoreline, and the Stingrays seem to have settled in against North Shore United and just pushed that scoreline out a bit more.
So they certainly have. So it's half-time here. We'll take a short break here on the New South Wales Premier League live streaming back in about 5 or 6 minutes' time for all the action of the third quarter. It's the Heart 30 leading the Panthers 29. The Jania Netball Centre, round 5 of the New South Wales Premier League, and it's a tantalising contest between the Panthers and the Central Coast Heart. The Heart had opened up a really handsome advantage in that second quarter, led by as much as 8 goals at one stage. That has been trimmed back to 1. They only lead by 30 goals to 29. It was a flurry of points in the last 5 minutes by the Panthers. They start off with possession, and we'll see if quarter 3 can live up to how exciting quarters 1 and 2 were. Alongside me in commentary, Sonia McCloma, and it's a big final 30 minutes coming from both these two sides.
Yeah, so a few changes for the Panthers team, bringing on Amarangi Melisala, who they caused the first turnover, and Central Coast Heart have brought on Dakota Thomas, who's also trying to settle into the game as goal defence.
Evans wins possession back, goes to Kessler back to Kessler now. Evans.
And they've brought Bradley on back into goalkeeper against Maddie Turner, and good pressure from the Panthers to cause a turnover.
It's been a little bit panicky with their passes, the Central Coast, in that last 5 or so minutes, and the team talk by the Central Coast coach, Amber Cross, was quite cross because she was quite stern with their players, saying that they weren't doing their job and they weren't sticking to their plans and processes that had obviously spoken about at the end of the first quarter.
Jack, how did you hear that? You're over there being a little spy at the background, listening. That's on right. The team bench.
Yeah, I could have worked for the KGB. Yeah, as Kessler tries to get up.
And that was well read by Tavita to get in there, and good challenge in the air to cause that turnover. So she's definitely stepped up and come to play at the start of this quarter. So let's hope that this continues.
Panthers reset defensively. Here's Tavita. He's back out there at goal defence.
So Masala got no one to pass it to, gets called for 3 seconds. All the attack end and running away from the ball.
Not a whole lot she could really do there, could she, unless she wanted to just give away possession.
Yeah, no, so the attack end for the Panthers. So another turnover via Tavita, so, and a pickup. So contact by Kessler, so well done, she's back in the game again. So I think she's had a second win in this break.
Yeah, she's been heavily involved. Here is Rodwell, who's still yet to have a break, and it's a pretty tough position to play centre. There's plenty of running involved.
Yeah, and just another misread pass by Amarang Melisala. So she's just going to have to settle in the game and get to know the players. She's been out of their camp for a while, so for her it's going to be important to settle in and grow back connections. So good pick up by Makunde, just couldn't get it to one of her players, so Laura Rogers on the end of it.
It's almost as a replay of the start of the first quarter where both sides are just feeling each other out, and there's been both sides coughing up possession, and as we see, back-to-back possession being given away. Central Coast end up with it now. There hasn't been too many goals to speak of. Defence has been what's been dominating here.
Yeah, the last 3 seconds been no goals. So let's see if Hawley can put a settler in for the Central Coast Heart, and yes, she can.
They probably needed that because they'd coughed up possession on 3 occasions that I could count, and they have a chance to try and build a bit of a buffer here. Got wide to Taylor. Back inside to Evans. Here's Hawley. Just didn't have enough power on that one, but Taylor gets up well to get the rebound, and she converts. Hard out by 3, 11:50 left in the third quarter.
That's a stronger move by Masala on the central pass, but again, the pass is just not placed well into Larry's hands. So the changes so far for Panthers are taking a very long time to settle in. So we'll see how the quarter progresses and, reveal whether these are the right changes to make in their attack end.
Evans with the ball across to Hawley. It's a really nice pass there. Took out 2 of the Panthers defenders and right on the chest of Maddie Taylor, who has converted once more, and that lead out to 4 goals now. So they've scored all of the goals in this third quarter, the Central Coast, and they are on top at the moment. Some physicality coming into the game. There's been 2 or 3 of the girls that have ended up on the deck. That one just has a little bit too much mustard on it, and it will be a chance for the Panthers to get possession.
Yeah, the Central Coast Heart attacking and not having it all their way, so there has been lots of turnovers by the attacking, but they just can't settle the pass and get a goal out of it. So another contact against Kessler. So let's see if the Panthers can capitalise on this possession game.
(33-29), 10.5 left in the third quarter. Rodwell goes to Masala, who almost loses the ball there. Did well to hold on to the end of it. Lowry gets it, but the pass just a little bit wayward. Evans with the breakaway, and again, good transition and good pace here by the Central Coast, who have got a bit of a numbers advantage. It was 4-on-3 there before the Panthers able to get some reinforcements back defensively.
Yeah, just still a misunderstanding between the attacking, which is giving the Heart a couple more goals. So they've changed both ends, but Panthers, and I'm not sure these changes are paying off for them.
It's been all the Heart after testing first probably 2 or 3 minutes where both sides were coughing up the ball a little bit too much for their own liking. Panthers almost win it back. In fact, they do.
Yeah, they do, and that's an uncharacteristic pass by Rodwell into the hands of the Central Coast defence, so they're quite lucky to get this back. They're just struggling a bit to find Masala, the new goal attack that came on, and that was a better pass by Rodwell into Makunde. So they open up their scoring.
Put one back as Masala made her presence felt there as she charged back through. 34 goals to 30. Here's the Central Coast, currently first on the table, 3 wins and 1 defeat from their 4 games, searching for victory number 4 and searching for a double tonight after their under-23s compatriots beat the Panthers by 48 goals to 44 in a game that looked like it was going right down to the wire until Central Coast ran away with it in the final term.
Yeah, Central Coast at Heart attacking, just struggling to get onto the circle edge. So the Panthers are doing a great job defensively to keep them off the edge. And you know, I'm kind of torn as to whether the Panthers are doing it to Central Coast Heart, or actually their attackers are just not taking those drives and using their front cuts to gain depth in their attack end. I think Kessler's hanging out a lot and just playing this short pass off the circle edge. So she needs to change up her leads a little bit.
So the Panthers on the cusp of shooting for another goal here. Here is Masala, their goal attack.
Yeah, she doesn't even look to post at that point. It's a bit far out. So let's see if she puts the ball up this time.
It's a long shot right here. She does extremely well to nail it. Keep the Panthers alive. They get their 31st goal of the game. So back with possession once more. Here's Rodwell. Goes out to Masala. It's not a great pass. Put Rodwell under all sorts of pressure. They're fortunate that they get the ball back on that occasion, Sonia.
Yeah, because it was well read by Laura Roger to come out. And like I said, it's always good to see a goalkeeper coming out to fly. It's a good decision by Rodwell to pass the ball to Makunde under the post. So the Panthers are settling now a little bit better, but this is halfway through the quarter that they're starting to settle. They've only scored 3 goals in 7 minutes of netball. So for them, it's going to be massive work from their attack end to settle and to see if they can keep close, keep this scoreline from blowing out.
They haven't really been able to get Makunde isolated with a smaller defender, or at least one-on-one with another defender.
Yeah,
so far that was probably the first opportunity they had.
Yeah, I think because Masala's playing outside the circle for so long, she's not opening anything up. And that was a better connection between the two, but Makunde just a little too far away from home, so she passes it out and wants to get a bit closer.
She does well there. Nice finish, and they're back within 1. So a topsy-turvy game. We've seen this. The Heart have obviously got out to a couple of really handy advantages in 2 or 3 times, but the Panthers are showing great resolve to get themselves back in the game more than once. Yeah,
they are, and you know, Panthers have gone back to this 1 lead, so they just need two leads onto the pass, and that's well held up by Masala to wait for Makunde to open up as Laura Roger starts hunting for more ball outside the circle.
Really good movement as well to drag the defence away, pull them out of position, and the Panthers, who were down by 4 goals in this quarter, down by 8 in the last quarter, all of a sudden level 34 goals apiece. Here's Kessler.
See if Brady can get up, and that's good. That's well up by Brady. Just called the contact, though. Probably if she'd left that, it was going to roll out anyway.
Maddie Taylor looking to get her side back in front. She does just that.
There we go. Go for goal again.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you looked at that first quarter where I think they'd open up a 7-goal lead, and then in the early stages of the second quarter where they got out by 8, you wouldn't have thought that the Panthers could have even got within cooey of them, as we see some heavy contact there.
Yeah, just a late contest by Russell out there, so Walsh will be a bit more wary, I think, as she comes through that channel of the court and meets up against Russell. Big hit.
I think sometimes that it can be worth giving away a penalty, can't it, just to let the player know that you're there.
Yeah, just a reminder that I'm hair hunting. So Maddie Taylor finding great space again under the post in her comfort zone, so pull the score out to 2.
Yeah, she has been the MVP so far for them in this contest.
Yeah, she has.
in a really pivotal part of the attack here as she now gets outside the circle and has good support to both Kessler and also Hawley. And then, big contact there.
Yeah, but that was great defensive effort by Bradley and Tavita, and I think Tavita read that very well. Just couldn't get her legs around just a little bit side to get that ball clean, but she was definitely up there in that elevation, so well done to her.
As you would know, it's a fairly unforgiving surface, the court.
They say it's sprung. Yeah, so she's hit the deck a few times, actually, so I don't know if she's hopping or limping, so we'll see how she goes as the court goes on, but she's definitely up the pressure. So another misunderstanding by the Panthers attack end, so they're just misreading where the placement of the ball.
So that's going to go against the Central Coast, much to the dismay of the bench. It's Panthers win possession. The last 3 goals have all come to the Heart, so they've been able to poke their nose in front. And we see the Panthers give away possession as well.
Yeah, just a bit of poor decision making from the Panthers once they get possession of the ball. So they just need to have someone coming to the ball, which they don't have currently, and just to shorten up a little bit. Like I said before, they were getting caught wide, and I think their attacking's gone back to playing quite wide in that front end. So they need to shorten it up.
So we've just got a timeout here, a break in play. The Hearts leading by 37-34, 4 minutes left in this quarter.
Yeah, I think a bit of a sweaty floor currently.
Yep, so that can always be a bit of a danger here as they just drive the ball as well. Running repairs being done. Well intercepted there by Tavita.
Yeah, just a little late, but she's got great elevation getting up there. She has to get up a bit earlier. So Central Coast Heart definitely seem like they're back in control again. So they're settling back into this again in this quarter. So we'll see if they can then capitalise. And again, Maddie Taylor finding the hold and finding the body of Bradley and just protecting her space. And Kessler reads that very well. So that connection between those two has been good so far.
Yeah, she's been superb up front. 39 plays, 34, 3.5 remaining. The Panthers need to try and get some goals now. They've conceded the last 5 in a row.
Yeah, Mukunda a long way from home, so we need to make sure one of our shooters are back in the circle.
Back to the middle they go to Masala. She's looking for options. She goes to Lowry on her right. Back to Masala. It's pretty far out. She's going to go for it, and she converts brilliantly. Pulls one back for the Panthers.
Yeah, Masala has got a good mid to long range shot, but she just needs to get more involved in the game, and just her attacking movements and connections with her wing attack and centre just need to up a little. Again, a great hold by Taylor to the towards the post.
Taylor scores once more. Only 2.5 minutes left in this third quarter.
Oh, instant turnover wherever. We wouldn't even notice that the ball turned over. Walsh looked like it was meant to go to her. That was a great turnover by Walsh and good timing onto the ball. Good hustle by Rodwell and a takedown.
She's been working hard in that centre role. It's been a really good battle between Rodwell and Evans, hasn't it, in the guts of the middle of the court.
Yeah, quite like her there. She's a smart player, good feeder. So the score's just blowing out a little bit again for the Panthers, so they need to settle again. But off the back of the second quarter, we actually know that they can kind of bring the game back and bring the scoreline back down.
Is it easy to drop your heads when there's 3, 4, 5 goals scored in succession? You can kind of feel a little bit that the game's getting away from you? No,
I think with that 5 to 6 goals, like now, like Panthers have got a turnover. I don't think that's the problem. I think as a player, when you're out there, you actually feel the momentum change. And one of those things where it feels like nothing's going your way. So the contacts, the contests, the loose balls are going opposition's way. So that's a hard one to battle and a little hole that as the attacking team to get yourself out of.
So the Panthers march forward, but great interception there by Central Coast, something that's been a great feature of their play today. And Wild getting across there and slapping it over the line. Yeah, that was good foot speed by Dakota Thomas, and something she's been working on all season. So it's good to see her actually out there contesting ball. I thought Walsh had a sneaky touch to that ball. I think she did too. Yeah. She probably sheepishly walked away from the umpire there. Yeah. Made no eye contact. He shoots possession, goes forward to Kessler. Thomas. Yeah, so Central Coast Heart bring the ball very easily down through that middle third. So they've got to take a weak take. They have to put more defensive pressure on Thomas and Walsh. I think we could see some substitutions. There's a wayward shot there from Hawley, but she'll get a chance to take a second one, and she converts. And that lead now out to 7 goals inside the final minute. But Do you reckon the Panthers are going to try and bring on some substitutions for this final quarter? Bring out some fresh legs?
Yeah, I think they definitely need to make the changes. You know, they've only scored 6 goals in this quarter, coming off the back of a quarter where they've scored 17. So I think for them, is it 17-19? So I think for them it's important. They probably should make changes. I think they are missing Di Bartolo in that goal attack position. I think she's a bit smarter and a bit more of a playmaker. So it'll be interesting if she comes back on, and also Petty Tolona at the back end. Just because she stopped Taylor getting those easy holds into the post.
She did. I thought she was, really influential in that second quarter. Obviously getting a breather here, so could be the final passages of play in this third quarter. Could we see one more goal? No, we won't. That ball dribbles out of play. Panthers get possession. They've got only 2 seconds remaining, and they're not going to be able to get the ball downfield. And that is the end of the third quarter. Quarter dominated by the Heart. They led by 1, heading into this third quarter, and have extended that lead out to 7 goals. So they lead by 42 goals to 35 at the end of the third. Still anyone's ball game, though, heading into these final 15 minutes. Both sides will know that as they walk off the court and get some much-needed instructions from their coaching staff, and a big final 15 minutes coming up, Sonia.
Yeah, so I'm expecting some changes from the Panthers team, so we'll see what they do. The Central Coast Heart definitely did settle in both in attack and defence, so I doubt there'll be any changes from the coaching staff, whereas halfway through the quarter I think I heard them yelling, so I think they'll get a bit frustrated there. But the coaches and the players weren't doing what was asked of them, so we'll see what Panthers do, but I think they're definitely the team playing catch-up at the moment, so I'm expecting some changes from them.
Yeah, you think they'll need to. They looked a little bit wary in the legs in that final 5 or 6 minute period. They did well to get it. They got it back to level scores at 34 apiece, but then there was that stretch of 5 consecutive goals, which just kind of knocked the stuffing out of the bit. They have to start well in this final quarter, don't they? Because if the Heart were to get even just the first 2 or 3 consecutive goals, it's a 9-10 goal lead. It's hard to wrestle that back in the final quarter.
Yeah, and I think straight from the second quarter, we know that Panthers are capable of getting goals back and getting back into the quarter. So I'm definitely expecting some changes from them.
We saw how rattled the Central Coast side got in that second quarter when the Panthers were playing that high tempo defence and getting in the face, and were able to create 2 or 3 turnovers, much like any side when the ball's going against you and you feel like the other team's getting on top, you can get a bit rattled. So they know that if they can get a couple of goals in succession, create a couple of turnovers, get in the face of the Central Coast side, they have a big chance of pulling the ascendancy back.
Yeah, a little bit of this never say die mentality, and I think, like I said, in the second quarter, the Panthers did show that. Third quarter was a bit disappointing for them in that they only scored 6 goals, so it's not a great quarter for their campaign. So I'm expecting some changes in their front end, and we'll see what that looks like.
We can see on screen the Central Coast coaching staff there that having a bit of a chat to their side. What are their instructions going to be? Obviously pleased with that last quarter, but know that they don't want to take the foot off the throttle here. They want to go for the victory and probably want to try and kill this game off as quickly as they can.
Yeah, and I think they've made changes. So they've put Demi Evans out of the middle and pushed her back to the wing defence position. So I'm not sure who's going to go into that centre. So I think Kessler's coming up wing attack, which would leave... Oh, I don't know who's going to go in that middle, so we'll see who starts to warm up for them coming into this last quarter. But over on the other courts, North Shore United 36, the Stingrays 40, so Stingrays pulling ahead. The Fury are 39, but the Hawks have blown this score out to 62. Sapphires 42 and the Sparks 28.
Yeah, so some interesting scores there that are going to continue to influence the makeup of the competition. 15 minutes left in this one. The Panthers 1-3 coming in to this game in 7th position. And if things don't change, they will be staring down the barrel. Their 4th defeat in 5 starts, whereas the Central Coast Heart have a big opportunity to push on here and go to 4-1. They came into this round first based on percentages and would love to try and get an outright lead depending on how other results go. And the whistles come from the umpires, and it's going to be time for these final 15 minutes. You've got your crystal ball in front of you, Sonia. What are you leaning towards us seeing in this final quarter of an hour?
I am leaning towards Central Coast Heart winning this game. They've made changes. They put Walsh into the middle, so fresh legs. We know that she can run and run and run and run. So I think that's going to be very important for the Central Coast Heart. Loads of changes for the Panthers. So Di Bartola back on for a goal attack, and they brought in a new wing attack through Mentis. And same, so the defence end, they kept it the same.
So Mentis is the fresh legs that they probably needed, who hasn't played so far today, and Di Bartolo, who I thought was pretty good in the first 2 quarters as well, but obviously wanted to give her a rest. And Central Coast start much like they have started most of the quarters, and they open up with a goal inside the first 30 seconds. That lead out to 8 goals now. So this is where the rubber really hits the road here for the Panthers. They need to try and get goals, get quickly, and create some turnovers. Here's Rodwell with the ball.
Yeah, we know they're more than capable of it. Di Bartolo is very smart with what she does with the ball, and taking that penalty quickly is one of the kind of examples of how quick she can move the ball.
Well, I think they took about 4 or 5 minutes to score their first goal in that third quarter. The Panthers, they started off well here and almost get an interception, but Taylor using her size and strength, but it's a rare wayward shot. She gets the rebound back and she converts. That was smart heads-up play there by the goal shooter for the Central Coast.
Yeah, it was, and it was actually good to see Brad actually getting a hand to it. So she just didn't pull it in, but it's good to see that she's getting up there. So an umpire's going to call it back, and that's a penalty against Thomas for contact. It's her advantage with the Panthers.
Di Bartolo passes and gets the ball back. She goes from downtown. It's a really good shot. She sinks it.
And she's not afraid to take those long shots. I think that's definitely crucial for that team.
But they know how important it is to pretty much hit on every shot now, the Panthers, because they don't want to miss an opportunity to score and then let Central Coast get on the other end of the court and score themselves, particularly with a 7-goal lead.
And this is good defensive pressure by Panthers, just holding up, and Central Coast have had to be patient and work a lot harder to get that ball into the circle. So that's good defensive pressure from the Panthers. It's just, one turnover and just to change that momentum for them.
Probably shows the class, because a lesser side would probably wilt a little bit against that defensive pressure. That's the patience of Central Coast just coming out on top a little bit. Here's Rodwell looking for the run of Makunde, but can't find it. But Panthers will retain possession.
Yeah, that was well read by Laura Roger. Unfortunately, she couldn't get that cleanly, so I'm sure Di Bartolo will pass it off. Oh no, she went for the shot. Roger probably should have left that as it was bouncing off of Di Bartolo.
And they pull another one back. Makunde has scored a couple of goals in this quarter. 45 plays 38, but still to his advantage, Central Coast at the moment. And looking the better of the two sides, and Panthers need to try and stifle some of this offense, and they do that there. They get a turnover.
Yeah, unfortunately, Di Bartolo fell offside, but that was much better defensive pressure. Well read by Bradley to come up for the interception. So let's see if Panthers can capitalise on this.
Russell forward to Di Bartolo. Throws the dummy, so to speak, back into the middle.
Yeah, no one to pass to. Oh, just a misunderstanding in the front end. So well picked up by Laura Roger.
Almost Makunde getting to that basketball-type leap there, but
yeah, she didn't
couldn't get her hands on it. Goes across here to Thomas. Thomas to Walsh. Good ball movement here from the Central Coast as they now go put the ball on the deck, and works well for Walsh initially, but then the pass is a little bit wayward, but it did come off a Panthers player, so...
Yeah, so that was a good touch by Bradley, so definitely getting their hands in everything now in this last quarter, which is important. So let's see if they can nip back some goals.
Goes across field to Walsh.
It was a massive swing.
It was. It was
a big swing.
It was a pretty decent ball across the middle, and no problems there.
Yeah, but good shooter pass here from Hawley into Maddie Taylor.
So we've had 4 minutes in this final quarter, and unfortunately for the Panthers, they haven't been able to make a dent into that deficit. It's an 8-goal deficit at the moment, and it's probably in the next couple of minutes they need to try and make their move. Makunde to Rodwell, who juggles the ball.
Yeah, but they're playing... You can see that attacking is more comfortable, so those are the right changes made by the coaches for the Panthers, and they're setting it back in, and Mentis is slotting in as a wing attack nicely.
Makunde converts, back to 7 now. As Central Coast move through Walsh. Another loopy type ball, but they get the ball back into the circle relatively comfortably. It's a really good finish. It's really classy, isn't it, there from Hawley to restore that 8-point advantage.
Yeah, she seemed unfazed, yeah. That's unlucky by Thomas. Mentis drove really hard and fought for that ball, so well done to her. Oh, great feed to Makunde by Di Bartolo.
Yeah, they work well together. I think that's probably the best combination they have.
Yeah, it is. So right now, I think that the smart movements, placement on the ball by Di Bartolo definitely helps Makunde and gives her that time to open up and pop to the post and to the ball.
Obviously, you can't have those players necessarily out there for 60 minutes together, but it's been a good move, certainly in this final quarter, as Maddie Taylor converts for the Heart at the 48-40. Di Bartolo with the ball.
Yeah, her ball, the way she handles the ball is very smart.
Long ball there.
And that was a great feed into Mukunde, who's very confident for that and just presented so well. So we'll see if the Panthers could get another turnover.
She just has such an advantage. Not that she's so much taller than anyone else, but her arms are just so long and she just has such a long reach that it gives her an advantage over perhaps some of the other players that don't have quite as long reach. Yeah,
she gets up very strongly. So that's a turnover to Panthers, so they're going to need to capitalise on this, which I think they will. That was well held back, so Bitola's not afraid to pass the ball back and just work it into the attack end. And that's well read by Rogers.
Yeah, Mentis looking for the ball in behind, but it didn't pay dividends for them.
Yeah, I think Mentis couldn't see, and I just think, smaller players have to take the time to do a step around and create, so they can see and get their vision up. So I think she couldn't see and she still threw the ball, which is costly for the Panthers team.
So one more added to the goal chart there of the Heart, and also for Maddie Taylor, who has been superb tonight. 49 goals to 41. Nice ball out down to the back to the right-hand side. Really good interception there by Central Coast. They'll get it back, though, the Panthers. Probably a little bit fortuitously there. Di Bartolo.
Yeah, that was a great interception by Roger, just not strong on the outlet. So, it's a bit of a coach killer when they, get a great interception and then throw the ball back to the opposition. But luckily for her, she was able to get it back again. And the Central Coast Hawk transitioned very quickly down the court.
Nice ball across the back there. And Hawley almost converts it. Did the 360 and rolled around the ring, but she will get another opportunity for the Heart to hit the half century, and she does just that. And the lead out to 9 goals with 7.5 left.
Yeah, Hawley's had a very consistent game, and I think she's been very calm in the circle, and she's not afraid to put her shots up. So it's good to see such a young player working around in this Central Heart team, especially as the main goal attack had left off the back of last season. So for her to come into those shoes and play well and combine well with the attacking, it's I think massive credit to her.
Another goal to Taylor. It was well won in the middle of the court there by Walsh.
So Evans coming off for an injury timeout and Judge coming on for the wing defence position.
Pretty handy position to come on, isn't it, as a substitute with your team up by 10 goals?
Yeah, comfortable.
Final 7 minutes remaining. Anything can happen, though, in the New South Wales Premier League, and let's see if the Panthers can create an opening. They go to Mukunde here and a chance here, and she converts comfortably. Back to 9.
That was a great draw by Di Bartolo to open up that circle for the one-on-one with Mukunde. Oh, well in by Mentis. Another turnover by the Panthers.
Great interception there. It's just about to say they needed that, but then give away possession a bit cheaply. They'll be able to hold on to the ball through this call here. The umpire's given to the Panthers. They really need to try and get one on the end of this. Goes to Di Bartolo, who's going to go back to Mukunde. And Mukunde converts once more. So it was a 10-goal lead. It's been trimmed to 8. The Panthers still knocking at the door.
Yes, and the Panthers are, like we saw in the second quarter, they are capable of bringing the scoreline back and nipping away, and that's what they're doing now. So another goal would be great for them. And once again, Mukunde's holding good space, just not comfortable in that position.
Slapped away by this strong Central Coast defence that has worked so hard today and could probably be the difference in the end, as there's some jostling and moving between both these two sides as Mukunde converts. Yeah, Di Bartolo is so smart with the ball and the way she moves the defence and the placement of the pass. So she's definitely an asset. Di Bartolo is definitely an asset to have on that court at the moment, and contributing to this scoreline. Be interesting to see what the scores have been when she's been out on the court, because she's been rather influential here for the Panthers, particularly in this quarter, but also in quarter 2, where they really took control of that particular quarter. Yeah, exactly. So I think the coaches will be kicking themselves the fact that they took her off the court. 5.5 left. It's the Heart 52 leading the Panthers 44 in round 5 of the New South Wales Premier League. Big thanks to the guys at Bar TV Sports for the live stream here, bringing you all the pictures of not only this, but also the under-23 fixture that we saw earlier tonight, with the Heart winning by 48 goals to 44 over the Panthers.
So the score back within 7. So Central Coast Heart just trying to find space. So they've reset back to the third line. And they're just struggling a little bit to get that ball into that circle. But they're quite patient in their attacking, playing the ball around. So this is good defensive effort from the Panthers.
Goes forward to Maddie Taylor. Taylor with a chance to extend the lead. She does just that. Back out to 8 with 4.5. And it's going to take something very special from now on in here for the Panthers.
Yes, I agree. But it's been done before, so we'll see how they go. Their front end's finding a lot more flow, and it's just open up a little bit. Just a bit of a push pass by Rodwell, so probably just need to wait or swing the ball back.
Well, they're at the right end of the court. Let's see if Makunde can add to her individual tally. Ball is knocked away.
Yeah, just obstruction call by Rogers. So after she defended the shot, she then stood in front. So, you've got to get out of the way and not be an obstruction to the shot or the shooter.
Kunde gets it back to that 7-point margin, which has been pretty consistent in this final quarter. Inside the final 4 minutes, though, it's looking more and more likely that Central Coast are going to be able to hold on to this advantage and record their 4th win of the season.
Yeah, and that was a good transition from their attack end, and that shows some of the class that they have in that Central Coast front end and the way they can move the ball quickly.
Good hustle defensively, but just pulled the trigger a little bit too quickly there. Did the Central Coast side, leading by 9 goals.
Oh, nearly the turner. Oh, great assist by Rodwell.
Did really well to get back in the centre, didn't
she?
Really good balance.
So a lot of hustle from Roger in the defensive circle for the Central Coast Heart. So the Panthers are not getting it all their way, and they're actually working very hard to get this ball into their shooters under the post.
Kunde adds another goal for the Panthers. 54 plays 47, 3 minutes left in this round 5 clash.
Maddie Taylor a long way from home, so that's good hold up by Rodwell to hold her out the circle.
Tries to get back in position under that goalpost there, which she loves to stand, and she eventually gets there and scores another goal there.
Just slips her back foot there. Oi.
Long ball down.
Oh, great pass by Bitoli to Makunde. Great confidence. So Makunde is a bit too far from the goal, but she probably should have taken that shot. I reckon that was close. That was within her range.
This one's in a range, and she converts 55 to 48. So it's really been a pretty competitive and pretty close final quarter, because I think it was a 7-goal lead when we came into this final quarter, and it stayed at 7. So both sides have equaled their opposition's goal scoring in this quarter.
Yeah, definitely. And, I think that third quarter was a costly quarter for the Panthers and the coaches and the decision makers. So unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalise, and that what put that goal line back out a little bit.
The 3-quarter time probably came at the worst possible time for them, didn't they? Considering the ascendancy they had a lot of momentum and probably got a bit of a second wind with how well they've been playing.
Yeah, definitely. So Taylor just couldn't steady it on the baseline. So Hawley for the big shot. Oh, not able to slot it where she has been all day. It's a great turnover by the Panthers. Oh, not able to control it out.
And great work there by Walsh there, playing in centre. It can be easy to be a little bit lazy and just rest on your heels with only 90 seconds remaining, but she's hustling away, winning the ball, trying to get her teammates in better positions.
Yeah, she's very fit. Look at her. Look at those muscles.
Yeah.
She's a bit of a unit. So I've seen her play across 3 positions, and she's on the back of anything. So she's a great hustler, a great addition to that Central Coast Heart team for sure.
Yeah, really patrolling the middle after being really strong in wing defence in the first 3 quarters. Nice ball movement here by the Panthers, though, as they try and get some last little moments of joy here through their goal shooter, Makunde.
Yeah, in the last minute of the game. So it's good to see Panthers still fighting and still in this contest.
You want to try, even when you know a loss is on the horizon, you want to try and add as much respectability and get as close to opposition as you can, as well as playing for the full 60 minutes.
Yeah, of course. And, you never know. It might come down to goal difference, at the end of whether you make the top 4 or not. So it is important to still keep scoring. And, like I said, to play against the Central Coast team who, were champions last season, and to keep this scoreline quite reasonable is a great effort by the Panthers. Particularly
with some of the other scores we're seeing. I can see the Hawks are leading the Fury by 78 to 57, so it hasn't blown out to 21 goals like that one has.
Yeah, and Sapphire's up 57-34 to the Sparks, so some big high-scoring games down up in the other courts.
We'll get a full wrap of those scores at full time, which is very, very shortly, because we only have 10 seconds left. The Central Coast looking for one last goal. They go forward to Maddie Taylor, and they might end the night on a high. And that's exactly what they do. They scored 2 seconds to go and wrap up a comfortable win in the end. They get their 4th win of the 2019 New South Wales Premier League netball season with a 57 goals to 51 defeat of the Panthers. And it's a double for the Heart, having won the under-23s by the tune of 48 goals to 44. They win this one, 57 goals to 51. They get their 4th win of the season. They stay first with 4 wins out of 5. Meanwhile, the Panthers, unfortunately for them, lose their 4th game in 5 starts. They have just 1 win and 4 defeats. But a really good performance by the Central Coast side, and a really high-quality game, I thought, as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, Panthers were in it for 3/4 of the game, and they gave hassle. They never gave up, and I just think what their attacking did out there, bringing the 23s and against them, Central Coast had to work hard for that win. And, you can hear from the comments from the coaches of what they're putting out and expecting from their players that they did have to work hard for that win. So it'll be interesting to see how the Central Heart team progress throughout the season, especially when they meet the teams like the Hawks and Manly, and see how they go and fare against them.
They'll be looking to build a platform against some of those other sides and string a few wins together. Wasn't their night tonight with the Heart winning by 57 goals to 51. Before we jump off the air, I might just go to you, Sonia, and get some of those other scores that have been happening around the place. We can see that the Hawks 79 lead the Fury 57 inside the final minute in that contest.
Yep, and North Shore United 48 to the Stingrays 52, so Stingrays were able to pull it away and just win that game by 4. The Sapphires and Sparks, the finish of Sapphires 58 and the Sparks were 34. So again with the Sapphires, the Manly team, good recruiting in the off-season and reflects the scores, and a lot of change for the Sparks team where they lost a lot of their players, including their head coach. So, for them it's a bit of a rebuilding year, and Sapphires are pushing upwards and onwards.
So it's been a good night here. 2 cracking games of netball with the Heart winning both of them here on the ShowCourt. The under-23s were 48 goals to 44 to the Heart. And the main game, the Opens competition, the Heart get their 4th win of the season with a 57 goals to 51. Sonia McClellan, thank you so much for guiding me through my first game of netball here, or first 2 games of netball tonight. I hope you've had a good time watching some high-quality games.
Yeah, it's been good to watch, and it's good to see some closely contested games. So I can't wait for next week to see what the girls put out.
We'll be back next Thursday, so we'll all be able to watch State of Origin next Wednesday night. So next Thursday from 7 p.m. here at the Geneva Netball Centre for more action in the New South Wales Premier League of Netball. On behalf of my co-commentator Sonia McClellan, all the Bar TV guys are bringing the pictures and producing all of the action tonight. We thank them very much for all of their help throughout the coverage. My name is Jack Clifton. We'll see you next Thursday for more action of the New South Wales Premier League.